Gym bonus beats.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some.
Oh yeah.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some. Time for some.
Welcome to another episode of Getting High with Grandma. With me as always is Grandma. Before we get into things, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to become a monthly supporter of our channel, go on over to Patreon. It is patreon.com/stonedgranny.
Oh no.
If you want to make a one-time donation, you can go to paypal.me/stonedgranny. And without further ado, here's Grandma. How you doing today, Grandma?
Hey, doing great. It's been a while.
Yeah, feels
So,
like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
What are you doing there? Cleaning bud?
yeah, Grandma needs to be high. Or Grandma, yeah. Well, you got the picture, right? Anyway, what we're going to do, I want to talk about, I'm a city girl, which y'all know by now. If you're watching our other chapters, watch our other chapters. I'm a city girl up here in Bend, Oregon. And Scott here lives in a, what do you call it, a self-contained...
It's a tiny house, kind of. Actually, I don't know. Some people say it's not that tiny.
But it's off-grid.
It's off-grid, yeah.
What they call off-grid. I never knew what off-grid was until I moved up here, okay?
Well, I'm actually a city boy, too. I grew up in Portland.
Well, I understand that, but tell us about your off-grid because I don't know, maybe I'm just uneducated. I don't know that everybody really knows what off-grid means because we're not all country, okay?
Yeah. Well, let me start off with, like, why I built it.
Yeah.
So, 2 years ago, so probably 2.5 years ago. Actually, let me start 5 years ago. I got rid of television for my son and I. I saw a thing and was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to get rid of my TV.
No TV.
No TV. And then I fell down the...
But he's got YouTube.
Yeah,
No.
I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole. Absolutely. And I started looking into things and I realized consumerism is crazy. Like, we work our asses off to pay for a home that we're barely in. And when I was in mine, I was asleep most of the time. You know what I mean? And it was just like to pay electricity, water, garbage, all that stuff. Now, granted, I still have to take my stuff to the dump, but I have solar panels, all that. I figured I wanted to stop being a slave. I felt like I was a slave.
Okay.
To my job. I had to have a job.
Well, yeah.
I don't have to have one now. It makes life easier. Absolutely. And when you first met me, I hated money.
Yeah.
I was trying to get away from money. Well, money is
Yeah, but you can't hate something that, unfortunately, we went through this. Unfortunately, while you're hating money, everybody else is revolving around it. So it makes life very difficult when you have no gas, you can't drive to the store, but I want to go back to your off-grid thing. So tell us about your solar and the water is what trips me out. Well,
I have solar panels, and I always thought, it's funny, I know alternate current electricity, solar's DC. There's AC and DC. Your home is AC. And I'm a little bit familiar with AC. I almost quit when I first started building it because, once it's all framed and everything, you got to wire the house. I couldn't figure out the frickin' solar. It was driving me crazy. But it's simple. It's actually... because I was complicating it in my head, and I walked away from it one day, and I was like, I was this close to quitting. I was just going, what are you doing, dude? You just need to stop. Because I had sent Xavier to my mom's for 2 months. Like, I was in, when I started building it.
To build the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
so he had somewhere to live. I lived in a 13-foot scamp travel trailer for 2 months. And I was about to give up, and I was like, screw it. I walked away, went to bed. I shit you not, the next morning it was like, ding! And I went and tried what I thought, and it worked. And I gotta tell you, turning on free electricity that you're not stealing is the most liberating feeling in the world.
Yeah, I would like that.
It's so cool. It's like, but I thought it was the amount of solar panels you had that determine how much electricity you can have. It's the battery bank, because they're like little, they have solar batteries now, but some people use golf cart batteries, stuff like that. And how you hook them up, you can go 24 volt or 12 volt. I'm 12 volt. Depending on how many batteries you have, your battery bank, your amp hours, determines how much stuff you can run in your house.
Right. I've read that.
Yeah.
But my question was always, okay, makes common sense if it's a cloudy, overcast day and you have no sun. Do those batteries kick on automatically, or do you have to go out and turn something on?
Well, the cool thing is, in the daytime, the only thing that screws me is snow, because I got to climb up there and scrape the snow off the panels.
Well, yeah.
Which sucks.
Same for Dish Network. Oh, sorry. Direct TV.
Oh, I've been there. I had to do that before. But there's different kinds of panels. There's monocrystalline, and I forget the name of the other one. But one of them's more efficient in overcast, and the other's more efficient in direct light. Well, in the daytime when the sun's hitting it, your battery, you can only charge your battery so much, so there's a dump load, what it's called. So during the day, my electricity's run off the dump load, the extra that the batteries don't need. So during the day, my lights or coffee pot, whatever, runs off the dump load. It's excess.
Okay.
Like if you had it on your
my
house.
My whole question is does it turn on automatically, or do you have to go?
Oh, it turns on automatically. I have a charge controller. It goes from the panels to this thing called a charge controller. And it's mounted on my wall. It's got a little digital display, and it tells you how many volts are running through it, how many amps, all that stuff, how the percentage your batteries are charged. I try in the wintertime, I yell at X all the time. I'm like, shut the lights off.
My mother used to say that when we had electricity in our house. My parents wouldn't turn the heater on in our house in San Francisco. No, absolutely not. It was just, I understand now, it's too costly, okay?
We had a wood stove, and my dad would get it humming so hot, but it only heated the living room and the dining room. Me and my sister's rooms were upstairs, and it was colder than shit up there. We had baseboard heat.
Yeah, it's always cold upstairs.
Ugh. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's all Grandma needs to know is if it'll turn itself on or not. Grandma from the city, you know.
Yeah, and depending on the kind of batteries you get, you have to perform maintenance on them, but like...
Yeah, well, just like your car in the car, right?
Yeah, and I also have a Pearson inverter. I've learned so much about appliances and solar and all this stuff. You know, like the inverter we got for your little pod thing that you take camping?
Yeah.
That's, it's not pure. It's different. Appliances like Pearson. Well, Pearson inverters are so expensive. I paid like $600 for mine, and it's not even that big. It's only like 2,000 watts.
Wow.
But it converts DC into AC, so you can plug stuff. Because I have a compost toilet.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah.
It's actually fascinating. The key is separating the liquid from the solid. That's it.
But how do you do that?
Okay. So I built mine, and I built my toilet actually out of cedar because it keeps bugs away apparently. And then I have like buckets that go in. It sounds gross. And then I built like a funnel. So when you sit down, it goes in the funnel down piping into the ground, about 4 feet down into the ground. It's legal to pee outside, isn't it?
I do it all the time.
And then what you do is, and then when the solid, after you drop a deuce or whatever, you lift up this little thing, and there's pine shavings in there. You can use bunch of whatever kind of medium you want to, and you just put it on top of it. It doesn't stink. It doesn't. What makes it so gross is when you mix the urine and the feces together.
It's all a gross subject to me.
It is.
You know, want to hear something sad? When I first moved here, I used to be able to walk around the neighborhood, and if I had to pee, I just peed, right?
Oh, because there weren't so many houses?
Yeah, now there's so many houses. I'm going, Joanne, you're right in front of somebody's house, okay?
I remember when X was real little and we still lived in Portland. We were at Safeway or something. He was like, I gotta pee. And there was no way I know because we had to park way at the end of the parking lot. I was like, there's no way. I was like, just pee on the tire. You know, you're a little kid. It doesn't matter. So he did it. Like a week later, we're at some place and he gets out of the car and he just starts peeing on I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And he's like, well, last time you said just pee on the tire. I'm like, well, you got to kind of make sure nobody's around. And, you know, even though you're a little kid, you just thought you could just pee.
Well, you can just pee. It's, you know, as long as you're making an attempt to be discreet, you know, you're not waving your wing wang at people, then.
Because unfortunately, there are people like that.
We ran into one when I was a little girl.
Like a flasher?
Yeah, my sister goes, I'm like maybe 5, okay? So she's 7. She's going, Joanne, come out front. You got to see this pervert that's out there, right? Come. And I came out front, and this guy he was stereotypical, had a long coat on, and he's shaking his winger at us, right? Well, I start cussing him out. I'm telling him, you filthy fucking pig, you get out of here. Well, my sister runs back into the house and tells my mother, Joanne's swearing at this man out on the sidewalk, right? My mother grabbed me, washed my mouth out with soap. I told her, you forgot to tell her the part of the pervert, right? You know, but he had ran around the corner when I was cursing him out. And
there's people like that. I've always wondered, is that considered a kink or is it a mental disability?
They're just perverts. They're perverts. They're pedophiles. They're perverts.
Yeah, granted, that one is because you were.
There's people who do it to normal.
But I mean, like, what do you...
Anybody who would stand there and shake their wanger at anybody, I don't care if it was a kid or an adult, you're a perverted. You don't do those kind of things. So, yeah, something's wrong with you.
People who like feet, is that a pervert?
A what?
Like people with feet fetishes, is that a pervert?
No, what you do in the privacy of your own home is your own business.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, but when you start shaking your private people, you don't know. If you're home in your bedroom shaking your private parts at your wife, that's your business. But
it's different. Like that's crossing the line from exhibitionist to pervert. Because if you like people to watch you, if they're willing to, that's okay.
If you're streaking down the street naked, okay, you're streaking down the street naked. That's one thing, but to stand there and shaking, that's.
It makes me when I was 12,
exposing yourself to somebody who doesn't want to look.
It's weird. I don't want you to think I'm a flasher because I'm not. Totally not. When I was like 12, my sisters, I was taking a nap, and they came in just to fuck with me. Tied me up, hog-tied me, stripped me down to like naked, and threw me out on the sidewalk in front of the house in the middle of summer, and all the kids were outside playing, and I'm like, they had me. Oh my gosh, my sisters tortured me.
I think sisters do that because my poor brother Dave, he used to sleep with his butt in the air, right? And one day we went in there and we thought it was funnier than shit. We were poking his butt with a pin, and he was just going, but he didn't wake up, you know? And so
I slept like a rock when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, kids are tired. They're running around all day.
I'm tired too, but I sleep like shit. I think the older I get, the more I have to get up to pee.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
You're talking to me?
Wow.
I'm going, hey.
That's crazy. I'm like, I used to like, I'd hear older people talk about it when I was younger. I'm like, psh, there's something wrong with you, whatever. No, it just happens, I think, when you get older. Your bladder shrinks or something. I think with dudes, that has something to do with your prostate.
Well, I know I have to cut myself off of water at like 7 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Okay.
How many times a night do you get up to pee?
Well, I try not to.
Do you ever make it through?
Sometimes, yeah.
You must have been really stoned. Pass the fuck out.
Yeah, well, like I tell my good friend, you make all the noise you want.
See, I can sleep through any, if I can sleep. I can sleep through a train or people being loud, TV, whatever. It doesn't bother me.
I had this shepherd that was an excessive barker. And my neighbors decided to call the sheriff. Well, the sheriff's left a little note on my door and to call this number. I called the number, right? They're telling me, the sheriff was out there and the dog's barking. The sheriff's pounding on your door. They're shining a light through your window. And we got no response. I said, well, I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
They said you would sleep with somebody shining a light in your face, and I'm going, obviously so, because I didn't get up.
That's crazy. Yeah. Man, I remember, speaking of police, one of the first times I was pulled over, I was 16. It was behind an Albertsons grocery store. It was me and two of my buddies. And it was these two old cops, and I didn't know my rights. I was 16. I just got my license. And he was like, can we search the car? I didn't know you could say no. I thought if you said no, it was automatically like, oh, hand me up and take you to jail. I was a kid.
Right.
I was dumb. And so the car's parked. We're sitting on the curb. They're going through the car. We're on the passenger side on the curb. And find some pipes, throw them out in the bushes. Find the weed, put it on top of the car. I'm just like, oh, shit, I just got my license. My parents are going to kill me. Cop on the driver's side looks at me and goes, do you have any guns or weapons in the car? I'm like, no. And he goes, what's this? And he pulls a 9mm out on his pencil. I start crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. I'm looking at my friends like, why the fuck did you bring a gun into my car, you idiots? And he sees them. I'm freaking out. And the cop goes, oh, it must be mine. And he puts it in his holster. Oh my, I was like, is this real?
They're trying to teach you a lesson.
And you could tell they were cops like a month away from retirement. They didn't give a shit. They were old school. When cops were kind of cool. Now they're dicks. Sorry, cops, but I've met a few really cool ones.
I'll tell you why they are.
Why?
And not that I'm a fan, okay? Because situations are different. Back then, they were using fear and intimidation to scare you. But it's funny. And to scare you, okay? But today, you've got kids and people running around with AK-47s, and they would think nothing about using them. So now the police cannot be funny, and they cannot be
bullshit
with little lessons.
I don't agree with that.
I do.
If you look at the percentage of people with AK-47s in the general population,
I had a good friend.
or gangbangers who are willing to shoot a cop, it's probably less than 1%.
No, you're wrong, dude. You are so fucking wrong. Man, the cops in Sacramento, for instance.
No, I'm saying out of the population.
I'll give you a for instance. I had a friend who was an officer in Sacramento. Paid very poorly. Anyway, he pulls over a car that he had already run a check on. It was a non-offender, nobody of any importance. Okay? He only pulled him over for a traffic stop. That's all. He pulled him over, walks up to the car. The driver blows him away. He laid on the street, and they have no idea who it was because he was a non-offender. There's a lot you don't know.
Okay, so asking me, how does being a fucking control freak and a dick?
Because when you're a dick and you take your job seriously, Okay, you're not gonna run into bad things. You have to. I'm sorry, I don't like cops, but these people.
They work for us.
Yeah, well, they may work for you, but they have a job to do, and they can't do it.
What is their job?
Their job is to control the peace.
No.
Control, yes.
Control?
Not control you. Not control you as a person.
The peace?
The peace. General peace,
They're
okay?
supposed to keep the peace.
Control it, keep it, whatever fucking term you want to
Big
use.
difference in my opinion.
Well, there's not. You're just getting technical.
No, control, because that's what they try to do is they try to control the situation.
Excuse me, I ran into the wrong word. But to keep the peace, you have to have peace first, okay? And if you have out of control people,
Grandma, you've been brainwashed.
no, fuck, I live life. I've seen it, okay?
How many times have you had a gun pulled on you?
Many.
When you weren't in the lifestyle.
When I wasn't in the lifestyle in Sacramento, I have had police put me on the floor.
No. I'm not talking about police pulling guns out on you. Just regular people pull guns out on you.
I have had guns pulled on me.
When you weren't in the lifestyle.
What lifestyle, Scott?
The one you've talked about. You don't live that life. It depends on the life you live. The majority of people aren't gangsters.
See, again, the world does not revolve around you. There's a big world out there, and there's big cities out there, and there's people in those cities.
And we live in a culture of fear.
Well, okay.
We live in the least violent
Scott,
time in human history.
I'm not going to argue with you. I know you like to argue.
No,
but
I
I'm
do
not,
too. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like
I'm not arguing. We're
You-
talking.
Well, I'm telling you, you're wrong. There are big cities with violent crimes going on every day. Okay, not only in this country, but in other countries too. And so it's not your little piece and, oh, let's keep the peace. No, sometimes you have to get in there and make the peace first. There's a lot of violence out there, and I've seen it.
I've seen it too when I was in the lifestyle. When I lived dirty.
My lifestyle was more peaceful than what the world really is.
But
okay?
you put yourself in situations which...
I'm telling you, big cities.
I lived in a big city. You have.
Portland is...
What? Granted, it ain't as ghetto as Compton.
It's not necessarily ghetto.
When I was
Go
18
live
years old.
in Manhattan. Go live in Chicago. Go live in Detroit.
So why don't those people
Go
leave?
live in where are they gonna go to?
Manhattan?
To your
Manhattan's
backyard.
the most expensive place to live. I would move out of there in a heartbeat if it was as bad as you said.
San Francisco is very expensive too.
This is my point, Grandma. This is what I've been trying to tell you is you're brainwashed. You think that...
You quit calling me brainwashed.
Listen.
Because I'm not brainwashed,
Listen.
okay?
Can I talk for a second?
Yes, but I want to make this straight before you talk because you've said that repeatedly. I am not brainwashed. I have an opinion.
You
okay?
do.
Well, and you don't like my opinion, that's okay, but that does not make me brainwashed because I don't agree with your opinion. That doesn't mean I'm brainwashed, okay? So,
But my opinion is that you are.
I think then I could start calling you names too, huh?
Brainwashed? I was brainwashed for years.
Well, I am not brainwashed. I am
You
an
believe we live in
independent-
this horrible place. And granted, the world's not perfect. We live in a culture of fear. Why do you think the news is always negative, violent? That shit don't happen. It's because it gets ratings. We live in the least violent time in human history.
You're fucking insane.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Where have you been, Scott?
We live in the least violent time in history.
Where have you been in the world?
Where have I been?
Yeah, you've been in Portland. You've been here. Where else have you been? Where have you been? You have to see something to know what's going on. You have not been anywhere. You have not.
When was the last? Okay, you've been places, but when? Shit changes over time. That's what I'm saying. In the Wild West days, people got killed like that. Now, granted, people get killed every day, but the population is way bigger. The majority of people are peaceful, honest, good people. But we shine a light on all the negative shit. So it makes us think that the whole world is that way. The whole world is that way.
Okay.
There's an agenda that the elite are pushing to control us, and they do. They do, because we think, oh, we need cops to be militant and drive X shit that they brought from Iraq back that they have no use for. So they give it to the cops. That's all I'm saying. I don't think when you...
And that is why the world is full of such different people, because we all view everything different.
But this is statistically a fact that we live in the least violent time in human history right now.
Wow.
So why are we so scared?
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I don't care what they do. But to say this is a non-violent time.
It's the least violent time in human history.
Oh, well, least. Well, that doesn't say much.
It means we're progressing.
Wow.
We're not going to be perfect, but we're progressing. But the people who run the world can't control us unless they pin us against each other. That's why there's all the race talk, and we were talking about this earlier, and gender stuff. I'm the most hated person in America right now. Why? Just because of the color of my skin and my gender. How fucked up is that?
I'm just saying, everybody has a perception. You feel right now that you are the minority, and the white man's being picked on, and they're judging you. You just
which I don't care though. But it happens.
That's your perception. And
no, it's blatantly said that.
Don't get violent on
I'm
me.
not. See,
Christ.
I get too animated.
You need to fucking calm down. I can't conversate with you when
I know. My delivery sucks. I go through this with everyone. I get very passionate, and I don't even give a shit about it. It's just how I
think we need a break.
Why? This is awesome.
Because I need a cigarette.
Fuck, man. We were just getting good, too.
No.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Grandma got a little pissed at me. So, yeah, we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Jim Bonus Beats.